Welcome to the Horror Next Door. I thought we'd do something a little fun today, and since it's the 20th anniversary of Freddy vs. Jason, why not do another Freddy vs. Jason video? Be sure to stick around to the end of the video for a bonus clip that I thought was really cool, especially if you're a metal fan like us. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun horror-related videos like this. While researching for the Freddy vs. Jason teaser sales trailer video, which you should go check out if you haven't already, I'll link it below, I stumbled upon a commercial for the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack, and let me tell you, it really brought back some memories. I immediately said to myself, I need to make a video about this and the soundtrack itself, because in our opinion, the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack is one of the best horror movie soundtracks out there. So here we are. I'm going to shut up real quick and play the commercial for you in its entirety, but afterwards I'm going to break everything down. Enjoy.
Freddy vs. Jason. Evil has two names, but only one sound, and this is it. The original motion picture soundtrack to Freddy vs. Jason, featuring Il Niño's How Can I Live? 20 tracks with rare and unreleased music from Slipknot, Mushroomhead, Sevendust, Towerman 5000, Stone Sour, and more. Pick up the album with 3 collectible covers in stores now.
I'm sure if you were watching this video and were alive when Freddy vs. Jason was released in theaters in 2003, you might also have this soundtrack somewhere in your possession, just like us. What I will say is I do not remember this commercial at all. I think it's another reason why I love it so much. Both Hellcat and I own the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack on good old compact disc. I still remember going to Best Buy and seeing this soundtrack for sale. Not really knowing what songs were featured on it, I still picked it up. I was just a sucker for Freddy vs. Jason. Now, if you remember in the commercial, it said that the CD came in 3 different covers. One with Freddy, one with Jason, and one with both Freddy and Jason. I ended up buying the cover that features both. I know, me being the Jason guy and all, I should have gotten the Jason cover. But I think my thought process at the time was that I was just so excited for Freddy and Jason to be battling that I wanted them both. Hellcat, being the resident Freddy fanatic, owns the Freddy cover as you can see here. Seeing her Freddy cover really makes me wish I had the Jason cover. I know everything is digital nowadays, either streaming music or purchasing the MP3s, but I don't care who you are or what your stance is on physical media. How can you look at these 2 CD cases and not think they are cool? Especially with Freddy and Jason? Come on. I feel like these should just be out all the time as decorations or something, especially if I had that Jason cover. Having both side by side would be really cool. So let's run through the tracks on this bad boy. Real quick, I'll be leaving a link to a playlist that I created in the description of this video, so if you haven't heard this soundtrack, you can check out these songs for yourself, free of charge, right here on YouTube. If you find any broken links though, don't come for me. I tried using all official channels, and as of posting this video, all the links work. Track number 1, How Can I Live by Il Niño. This is the main song featured in the commercial and also is the first song that plays during the end credits of the film. I am not a fan of Il Niño. I don't hate them or anything, but I love this song. Apparently there are 2 different versions of this song, the only difference being the breakdown. The version on this soundtrack is definitely the one I prefer. Track number 2, When Darkness Falls by Killswitch Engage. Apparently this is referred to as the original recording of the song. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I love this song as well. I'm not the biggest fan of Killswitch, but I'm definitely a fan of the Howard Jones era of the band. I honestly haven't heard much from them after his departure, so maybe I should look into them. Track number 3, Beginning of the End by Spineshank. You will immediately recognize this song as it's the song that plays when the Freddy vs. Jason title card appears on screen within the film. I love this song. I just recently, within the last few years or so, have gathered the entire Spineshank discography. Hellcat and I are definitely fans of this band. Unfortunately, they are no longer together, but at least I have all of their music now. If you like this song, then I really suggest checking out the rest of the album that song is from, which is titled Self-Destructive Pattern. It's a fantastic album. Also, a bit of bonus trivia for you. The song Slavery, which also appears on that very same album, actually appears in Freddy vs. Jason, but is not on this soundtrack. It plays for a moment towards the end after Kia is killed and Freddy and Jason begin to fight. I'll leave a link to Slavery as a bonus in the description. Track number 4, Sun Doesn't Rise by Mushroomhead. So if anybody knows me, they know that I love Mushroomhead. I discovered them shortly after their album XX was released. I remember buying the Eclipse Records version after listening to about a minute of the first track on a pair of crappy headphones at a random Hot Topic. Anyway, Sun Doesn't Rise was the first track that released off their upcoming album 13, so hearing it on this Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack got me very excited at the time. I know Mushroomhead and Slipknot get compared a lot, and Mushroomhead gets a lot of hate, but the secret that I always had is this: I love both bands. To me, it's a lot like loving Jason and Freddy. They are both great, similar in some ways, but drastically different in others. Anyway, Sun Doesn't Rise is a great song, and I think their 13 album is probably my favorite album of theirs, so if you end up liking this song, go check out 13. Track number 5, Condemned Until Rebirth by Hatebreed. Hatebreed is a great band and really have some great songs. I will admit that I'm a little late to the Hatebreed fun. I always knew of them, but just never got into them until recent years, mostly thanks to Hellcat. This isn't my favorite song of theirs, but it's still pretty damn good. Apparently it's a bonus track to their Perseverance album. If you didn't get the bonus track with your Perseverance album, then this Freddy vs. Jason album is the only other way that I know of to get it. Track number 6, Snap by Slipknot. I love this song. I know it's repetitive and not as intricate as some of their others, but there's just something about it that I love. This song is from a demo that Slipknot produced before getting signed to a label. It's not the best recording, but for a demo, it sounds pretty decent. For a while, I always wished that Slipknot would re-record this song and put out a polished version of it, but I think it would lose its impact. So don't re-record it. Leave it as it is. You know what else I love about this song being on this soundtrack? The fact that Slipknot and Mushroomhead appear on this album together. Oh, and remember I said there would be something cool at the end of this video? Well, it's Slipknot related and Freddy vs. Jason related, so stay tuned. Track number 7, Army of Me by Chimera. Another great song by a great band. This song appears during the end credits of the film. I am a sucker for double bass drumming, and I just love how the double bass and guitars go together in this song. Bravo. I think this is the first song I ever heard from Chimera, which led me to go out and buy their album, The Impossibility of Reason, which is a classic metal album in my opinion. Unfortunately, Chimera is not together anymore, but they have several albums out for you to enjoy. If you end up enjoying Army of Me, then go listen to The Impossibility of Reason. You will not be disappointed. Track number 8, The After Dinner Payback by From Autumn to Ashes. So listening to this song again for this video, I'm definitely not a fan of it or the band. It's just not my type of music. What I will praise them for, however, is that apparently the drummer is singing all the clean vocals in the song. I only know of this because I watched the music video for it. I don't know anything about this band, so I wouldn't have known otherwise. I have to applaud that drummer for being so badass though. After a quick search, apparently the drummer became the singer later in the band's career. Crazy. Track number 9, Leech by Sevendust. I was never a big fan of Sevendust. Again, I don't hate them or anything, I just never got into them. I listened to this song again for this video, and the song isn't all that bad. Again, being a sucker for double bass drumming, the drummer does a neat little groove at the end of the song that I thought was really cool. Apparently this song was only released on this soundtrack. Track number 10, Bombshell by Powerman 5000. Hellcat and I are fans of PM5K. We finally got to see them live not too long ago. What I will say is that I'm not a fan of all their albums. This is one of my favorite songs by them. An interesting story, the album that this song is from, which is titled Anyone for Doomsday, was pulled from release about a week or so before it was due to come out. Crazy. At the time the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack came out, Bombshell was the only track to see the light of day from that album. It has since been released on streaming platforms and their YouTube channel, but for a long time this was the only way to listen to it. And in my opinion, this song rocks. Track number 11, Welcome to the Strange by Murder Dolls. I tried getting into Murder Dolls back in the day, mainly because it featured Joey Jordison from Slipknot on guitar, but just never could get fully into them. This song really isn't all that bad, but it's just not my cup of tea. Rest in peace, Joey. Track number 12, Out of My Way by Seether. I really like this song. I love the bass line in the beginning. I think the singer has a great voice. It's great hearing him scream "out of my way." I think this might have been my initial exposure to Seether. They're one of those bands that I'm not super into, but I seem to enjoy every song of theirs that I hear. Track number 13, Inside the Cynic by Stone Sour. Another Slipknot side band. Stone Sour features Corey Taylor and initially Jim Root as well, but he is no longer in the band. Stone Sour is weird for me. As I enjoy this song from them, I didn't fully enjoy their first album. However, their second album, Come Whatever May, is great from start to finish and in my opinion their best album. Every album after that is just hit or miss for me. Slipknot is where it's at for me personally. Track number 14, Swinging the Dead by Devil Driver. Another first exposure for me, as this was the first time I had ever heard Devil Driver. I became a fan instantly. I remember being shocked when I found out that the lead singer was Des Fafara from Coal Chamber, a band that I knew about and tried getting into but just never really could. Devil Driver, on the other hand, I love. If you like Swinging the Dead, you should definitely check out some of their other albums. I don't think you will be disappointed. Track number 15, The Waste by Sepultura. I'm not the biggest fan of Sepultura, but I do like some of their songs. This song features Mike Patton from Faith No More. It's not my favorite song from Sepultura, but it's weird in a very cool way.
Hey man, I'm in some deep fucking shit down here. You gotta help me. Man, turn down the Sepultura and listen to me, motherfucker!
Track number 16, Middle of Nowhere by The Blank Theory. So to be honest, this is one song that I really do not remember from the soundtrack. After listening to it again for this video, it's really not that bad of a song. It doesn't sound like a band that I would get into personally, but I could see them being very big. I did a quick search and apparently this band isn't together anymore, but they do have 2 albums if you wanted to go check them out. Track number 17, Ether by Nothing Face. So this band I had heard of before, but again, just never got into. After listening to this song again for this video, the song really isn't that bad. I did another quick search and found out that they are no longer together and that the lead singer has passed away. Rest in peace. Track number 18, Trigger by In Flames. Would you be surprised if I said that this song was yet another first exposure for me? Trigger was my introduction to In Flames, and I instantly became a fan. This song has all you need in my opinion. It's heavy, it has double bass, of course, it has screaming, and it has clean vocals. What more can you ask for? In Flames are still going strong to this day. Track number 19, 11th Hour by Lamb of God. Okay, so I had heard of Lamb of God before this soundtrack had come out. However, I didn't really listen to them outside of being around friends. The Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack and this song, 11th Hour, changed all of that. I am now a huge fan of Lamb of God. Hellcat and I saw them in concert a few years ago, and I would definitely see them again. My favorite album by them is Ashes of the Wake, which I highly recommend to anyone who doesn't know them to start there before branching out to their other albums. Lamb of God fucking rock. And last, but certainly not least, track number 20, We Were Electrocute by Typo Negative. This song actually appears in Freddy vs. Jason during the scene where Mark heads back home and is thinking about his dead brother that Freddy killed before he falls asleep and Freddy kills him. Hellcat is a fan of Typo Negative. Me, not so much, but I listened to this once again for this video and I really enjoyed it. I believe it fits perfectly as a closer for the album. Whoever oversaw the song placement for the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack did a great job. It's a nice, soft closer to finish off the soundtrack. Rest in peace, Peter Steele. And that is it. Freddy vs. Jason is a huge accomplishment in horror history. After the long development hell that it had to fight through with the many scripts that were written, it's a shock that the film was even made to begin with. It's also worth noting that the movie is actually good. If you think about it, all those years and scripts, it really could have been a disaster. And to top it all off, they release a soundtrack featuring some of the best bands of the time that just plain kicks ass. Hellcat and I personally think that it's one of, if not the, best horror movie soundtracks ever released. And from what I've gathered from other comments online, apparently we are not the only ones that think so. So, what do you think of the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack? Do you own a physical copy yourself? What are some of your favorite songs? Let us know in the comments. If you haven't heard this soundtrack before, definitely check out the playlist in the description and then come back and let us know your thoughts. I will let you go with that bonus clip that I mentioned before. While searching around online for Freddy vs. Jason material, I stumbled upon a video of Slipknot at the premiere of Freddy vs. Jason. It was so cool seeing them all in their masks, getting pictures taken, especially Corey behaving very eerie. Because it relates to Freddy vs. Jason, and since we're talking about the soundtrack that Slipknot themselves appear on, I thought it would be a neat way to end the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to us if you aren't already. Now, enjoy the clip.
I'll take one, please. Thanks. Sorry. This is the band Slipknot.
Straight to eBay.
Still Heather. B-roll.